A boy writes a haiku and posts it online. He checks himself in the mirror, making sure he looks good. With headphones around his neck and new ideas sparking, he's ready to start his day. The boy approaches an elderly man named Mr. Fujiyama, who stands alone in a field. Suddenly, the man shouts at him, calling him Cherry Boy. The boy asks if Mr. Fujiyama has found what he's looking for, but the old man shakes his head. Grasping the man's hand, the Cherry Boy suggests they both head home. At Oda Nouvelle Mall, a girl finishes her dentist appointment for braces and gets instructions on dental care until her next visit. She walks out, puts on a face mask, and checks her face with her phone camera. Then she starts a live stream, greets her viewers, and smiles at the flood of likes she receives, thanking everyone. People in the mall look at her with confusion. She begins live streaming, pointing out the cute things she spots around the mall. Meanwhile, security guards review the footage and see that with summer break in full swing, the mall is more crowded than usual with students. Their attention shifts sharply when they spot Beaver tampering with the Hikarun figure. Rushing to the scene, they try to stop him from stealing the mall's property, but despite their efforts, Beaver slips away with the figure. A crowd surrounds a baby crawl race at the mall. The babies start crawling before the official signal, prompting the event host to shout, "Full start!" The Cherry Boy pulls out his dictionary to check the term. Meanwhile, Smile arrives to film the race, but is knocked to the ground by Beaver, who collides with her and the Cherry Boy, sending their phones flying. On the ground, Smile and Cherry Boy stare at each other. When Smile's mask slips off, revealing her braces, she quickly covers her mouth, stands up and grabs what she assumes is her phone. The sight of the braces sparks an idea for the Cherry Boy. He picks up the phone and slips it into his pocket. Later, Cherry and Mr. Fujiyama return to the elderly care center. As Mr. Fujiyama's colleague reminds him not to wear headphones at work, he takes them off. A girl at the office asks Nami what Mr. Fujiyama is searching for, and Nami explains he's looking for a record. Suddenly, Mr. Fujiyama begins loudly reciting Setsu's haikus, startling Cherry. As the boy quickly realizes what's happening, he smiles and asks Mr. Fujiyama to lower his voice. Struggling to hear, Mr. Fujiyama doesn't quite catch the request, and Cherry eventually gives up. Tough Boy storms into the center, shouting for Cherry and demanding to know where Beaver is. Suddenly, Akiko calls out his name with enthusiasm, causing him to blush and become bashful. He picks up his grandfather, Mr. Fujiyama, and then angrily confronts Cherry, complaining that Beaver has vandalized his car with graffiti once again. When Cherry admits he has no idea where Beaver is, Tough Boy's frustration boils over, and he threatens to beat Cherry. Smile vents her frustration in the park, meanwhile, upset that the boy mentioned her braces out loud. As she searches for her lost face mask, she checks her phone and realizes it doesn't belong to her. Remembering the boy, she connects it to him and quickly flips through his dictionary before hurrying away. When Cherry's shift ends, he heads outside and climbs a nearby ladder to a rooftop, cluttered with mall items. There, he finds Beaver. Beaver apologizes for the mall incident, and the two sit together. Back at her house, Smile seeks Mari's help, revealing that the phone she has doesn't belong to her. Meanwhile, Beaver is busy tagging graffiti on the ground. His friend asks if he's writing Cherry's haikus, and Beaver confirms, explaining he's using them to improve his Japanese. His friend points out that Beaver speaks Japanese fluently already, but Beaver admits he struggles with writing as his father only writes in Spanish. Cherry spots Beaver's graffiti all over the mall and confronts him, asking him to stop because it's embarrassing. As Cherry watches the sunset, a haiku idea comes to him. When he pulls out his phone to jot it down, he realizes it's not his. Meanwhile, Mari tracks down the phone's location, and Judy suggests calling the number to see if someone answers. When the phone rings, Beaver picks it up and hands it to Cherry. As they both open their cameras, one of the boys excitedly recognizes Smile and starts fangirling. Judy quickly hangs up. The boy explains to Cherry and Beaver that Smile is a famous influencer. Moments later, Smile calls them back. A few days later, the girl visits a restaurant, and Smile is thrilled to have her phone back. As she eats with her mouth covered, her sisters watch in confusion. Meanwhile, at the elderly care center, the boss searches for a new part-timer. Smile's sisters try to reassure her that her buck teeth, which she's had since childhood, are her best feature and that her followers find them cute. Despite their encouragement, Smile insists she doesn't like them. At the mall, Smile and her sisters spot Cherry with a woman who looks much older than him, surprising them all. Smile is taken aback as she thought Cherry was single and unsociable. The revelation that he has a girlfriend shocks her. Cherry posts a haiku, only to see that Maria liked his post, which annoys him. Sitting with the elders, the woman asks everyone to present the haikus they've written today. Smile, Judy, and Mari watch from a distance. As the woman collects the haikus and begins reading them aloud, she calls Cherry to join her and recite his own poem. Nervous and blushing, Cherry manages to get through it, but as he returns to his seat, he grumbles that a haiku is meant to be read silently, not out loud. He then puts on his headphones. Mr. Fujiyama recites his own haiku and points directly at Smile, making both her and Cherry feel uneasy. Later, Cherry and Smile spend time together, getting to know each other. Smile asks about the music Cherry is listening to, and he reveals he's actually not listening to anything. He's developed the habit of wearing headphones to avoid conversations. Smile finds this clever. Cherry then inquires about Smile's face mask, guessing she caught a cold during the summer. She quickly shifts the topic to the dictionary Cherry has attached to his phone. Cherry explains that it's a saijiki dictionary for writing haikus. He tells her that writing haikus helps him express his thoughts more clearly. He admits he's not great at reading haikus aloud to people and usually just posts them online. Smile agrees that sharing them online can attract more viewers, though Cherry's low follower count suggests otherwise. Smile asks if coming up with haikus is easy for him. Cherry says it's hit or miss. She encourages him to write one on the spot. Nervously, he hesitates until the light poles flicker on, sparking an idea. Cherry quickly comes up with a haiku, and Smile finds it charming. Smile tells Cherry she finds his voice charming, too. Back at home, Cherry reflects on her comment, wondering what she meant. He posts his haiku and starts packing some items into a box. As he moves the box to the table, his father notes that it's still early to start packing for their move. His father then enters Cherry's room, sits on the bed, and asks him to take care of the Saijiki dictionary, which once belonged to him. He inquires if Cherry's upset about moving, but Cherry simply says that it doesn't matter where they go as long as he has his phone. Smile scrolls through her account and spots Cherry's latest haiku. She likes the post. Her mother scolds her for using her phone at the dinner table. Cherry, noticing this sudden spike in likes, nervously asks his mom to stop engaging with his posts. When he receives a notification that Smile liked his haiku, he panics and rushes to his room. It turns out Smile's sister had snatched the phone and kept liking all of Cherry's posts. Cherry, feeling shy, wonders if this means Smile wants him to follow her online. Hesitantly, he hits the follow button. Smile, pleased, smiles at her phone and follows him back, which makes Cherry beam with happiness. Every time Cherry posts something new, Smile likes it. When she goes live, he tunes into her live streams. Smile starts working at the elderly care center, where preparations are underway for the summer festival at the mall. Cherry checks his calendar in August and realizes that their moving date, the 17th, is fast approaching. At the center, Cherry and Smile are rehearsing a song for the festival. Mr. Fujiyama shares his wish to hear the record Yamazakura one more time, although he only has the album cover. Cherry and Smile decide to help him find the elusive record. Fujiyama's daughter arrives at the record shop, alarmed to find her father has collapsed. At home, Cherry searches online for the record Yamazakura, but finds no trace of it. Determined, he and Smile launch their own investigation. They learn from the elders at the care center that Fujiyama once worked in the area, when it was a record pressing plant. They ask Motopuri if he knows anyone who might have information about the factory's history. A security guard suggests checking the third-floor handoff, where old records might be stored. At the record shop, the cashier suggests that the record might be a picture disc and shows them his collection. Later, Smile shares the cover of the record during her livestream, hoping someone might recognize it. A viewer suggests checking the radio tower up Mount Umafuse. The next day, Smile and Cherry make their way up the mountain. There, they uncover the crucial information they've been seeking and discover that the woman on the cover is named Sakura Fujiyama. They take their findings to Tsubaki, who realizes for the first time that her mother was a musician. Cherry inquires about Sakura's whereabouts, and Tsubaki reveals that she had heard her mother became ill and passed away shortly after giving birth to her. Tsubaki informs them that the tough boy is busy packing up the records. Smile suggests that Mr. Fujiyama would love to hear his wife's voice again. Cherry volunteers to help with the packing, hoping they might stumble upon the record, and Smile agrees to assist as well. Tsubaki agrees to let them help, and Cherry suggests bringing Beaver and his friend to join the search. The next day, they start combing through the shop. Tsubaki makes some noodles for everyone, and the boys eagerly dig in. Smile, however, declines the offer, claiming she's on a diet to avoid taking off her face mask. Later, as Cherry is packing at home, he discovers an old haiku book. Opening it, he finds an entry about the Yamazakura haiku and realizes it refers to people with buck teeth. He immediately thinks of Smile. Meanwhile, Smile looks through her phone and notices a photo of Sakura, who also has buck teeth. The next day, after packing up all the records at the shop without finding the record, everyone sighs in disappointment. Cherry and Smile are particularly upset. Cherry suddenly remembers how the haiku book fell from nowhere and decides to check behind the fridge. There, with Smile's help, they finally find the record. Tsubaki rushes to her father with the record, eager to restore his precious memory. As the preparations to play the record begin, Smile invites Cherry to watch the fireworks at the summer festival, and he agrees. However, in a tragic mishap, Smile accidentally shatters the record while trying to flatten it. The next day, Cherry and Smile decide to return and apologize to Fujiyama. However, she learns that Cherry will be moving away on the day of the festival, which deeply upsets her. Disheartened, she says a sorrowful goodbye to a remorseful Cherry and then goes to apologize to Mr. Fujiyama. At home, Smile tries to repair the broken record. Tears stream down her face as she works. Her sisters offer comfort as she struggles with her grief. On the day of the festival, Smile presents Fujiyama with the reassembled record as an apology. To her surprise, she finds a working copy, repurposed as a wall clock in the elderly care center. They all wish Cherry could be there with them. Meanwhile, in the car, Cherry sees Smile opening a live stream from the festival. Smile plans to play the record during the care center's performance. As the record plays, Mr. Fujiyama tears up, recognizing his late wife's voice. The sound brings back memories of the photograph used for the record cover and their shared past. As Cherry's family car drives past the mall, he spots graffiti of his haiku on the street signs. Summoning his courage, Cherry races to the festival and confesses his feelings for Smile through a series of heartfelt haikus. Smile gasps as she understands his message and rushes to the front of the crowd. As the fireworks light up the sky, Smile takes off her mask, revealing her smile and reciprocating Cherry's feelings. Thank you so much for joining us today in this anime recap of one of the most wholesome and heartwarming slice-of-life romance movies I have seen in my life. And if you want to see more wholesome content and feel more heartfelt about our channel, then you can subscribe, like, and ding that notification bell whenever you like. Okay, thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.